All right, guys. The next movie on our list is The Truman Show. This is my favorite movie of the week. I'm just going to say that right off the bat.
I'm so glad.
I freaking love this movie. Jude.
This movie?
I do. Tell me what it's all about.
I love this movie too.
I'm so glad. Cheers.
1998, The Truman Show. Rated PG with a runtime of 1 hour 43 minutes. This had a budget of $60 million. What do you think this brought into the box office?
Easy 120.
You stole my answer. I'll go 110.
All right. $264 million.
Whoa. That was a hit.
Yeah.
This was a huge movie.
That's awesome. Good for it.
Yeah. Let me just clear my throat really quick because I feel a little tickle. So.
Oh. What are you drinking there, Jude?
Shinerbach.
That is a beer.
Truman Burbank lives with his bitch wife, Wendy Bird, on the beautiful suburban island of Sea Haven. Voted best place on earth to live by the show writers of the world's most popular reality show. Truman was adopted by a television network when he was born and has never known anything other than the counterfeit world he's grown up in, carefully crafted by show creator Christoph, the Man in Black. His best friend Marlon's been lying to him since they were 7 years old, but is a hell of a spokesperson for Penn Pavel's beer. His mom has a master's degree in gaslighting, and the only person who's ever been honest with him is apparently crazy and brings all her boyfriends to that beach before her dad has her committed to a mental hospital in Fiji. Truman can't help but feel like he's being lied to and that everyone's in on it. But that's crazy, right? Discuss.
I freaking love this movie.
It's so good.
It's
I'm so glad you like it.
Freaking good. I've
Yeah.
loved this movie since the first time I've ever seen it. It's partly because of Jim Carrey's incredible performance, and the rest of it is just like, it's humorous but really dark.
It's such an understated, like, comedic,
yeah.
dark. It's darkly comedic.
A dark comedy?
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But like, and it's like, if you think about like the underbelly of this movie, like everything is so
it's
fucked
freaking
up.
Disney
and
World.
we're all complicit.
Yeah.
You know, because we're all watching it, we're all perpetuating it, but we're all rooting for him at the same time, and it's sick.
So the actress who plays his wife,
Yeah.
this movie has ruined her for me. I feel so bad.
Have you not watched The Ozarks?
I have.
Because she's awful in that too.
Is she awful in that too?
Oh,
Does
she's
she
the
just play the
fucking
worst characters?
She's the worst.
Okay. So like,
Yeah, you're talking about Laura Linney.
yes, I cannot not see Truman Show anytime I see her on screen. And she, like, if I saw her in person, I would probably be like, oh, no, I don't want to talk to you. You stay away from me. You're an evil person.
Yeah, Laura Linney, you know, it's funny because she's a very good actress, but she always plays these like terrible people.
She's
Yeah.
so good at it.
She,
Yeah.
she really is good at it. But like, you know, Jude's not joking when you watch a show like The Ozarks. She is the worst.
Oh, I hate her so much.
Oh, yeah.
I hate her so much.
Oh, man. Her,
And this is the first movie I think I remember ever seeing her in.
is it her first movie ever? Or was she in
I don't know if it's her first
I
movie.
don't think so.
But I think it's the first big one
Yeah,
that she was
big
in, that she had
blockbuster.
like a
I'll look right
substantial
now.
role in.
This movie messes with your head.
Yeah.
Because it's so convincing at what it does that you start looking at your own life and you're like, "Shit, where the camera's at?" Like,
You know, this movie actually created an actual psychological disorder where people believe that they were being followed by cameras, and they call it like the Truman syndrome
effect or something like that. Yeah, I believe that. My brother is a big fan of Jim Carrey, and when he saw this movie, he kind of went down a really weird rabbit hole. And I remember as a kid, my brother growing up, he was like, "There's freaking cameras everywhere, man."
Well, you know, this isn't the first. Well, I think it was actually the first time, but it's not the only time that Jim Carrey has been in a movie where like there's an undercurrent of psychological disorder as a result, because like he was in, and then nobody's seen it, but the number 23, where you see the number 23 everywhere, and it causes him to go insane in the movie. I've only seen it once, but my memory of it is that it's like really riveting. But like for me personally, I can remember being a small child and being like, I feel like everyone is watching me, and I feel like everything that I do is under a microscope. And I remember feeling just like this as a child.
The scene where he starts to like connect the dots, when he's going through the revolving door and the music swells and you see his face and he's like, "Oh
Yeah.
my God, like
And
there's
it's like-
something wrong."
The movie showed you when the flip switched.
Oh yeah,
Switch flipped. Sorry.
when he's sitting in the car and he's like, I predict there's going to be a dented yellow beetle, followed by a guy on a bike with flowers, or a guy on a bike, and then somebody with flowers.
And he's trying to get help.
Yeah,
but everyone's in on it.
It's so creepy and unsettling.
And the radio malfunction.
Yes, and he hears everybody. Yeah,
it's like, okay, he's turning right on First Street and blah blah blah.
But
like,
the creepiest moment for me, and the moment that I always I look at this movie and I'm like, God damn it, that was freaking genius, is when he's like distressed. He's upset. He's not happy. Everybody around him knows he's kind of losing it. He's questioning his reality, and they're still just pounding in the freaking product placement. And his wife is like, why don't you just relax and I'll make you some nice freaking whatever Orville milk chocolate or whatever. He's like, who the fuck are you talking to?
Yeah, I've had other cocos. This is the best.
He's like, what the fuck is going on? Like that's when he snapped. And I was like, that shit stresses me out.
Yeah. You know, I'm really thirsty right now. Do you have a Capri Sun or something?
Sure, Vader.
All natural ingredients, Capri Sun. Fruit punch flavor. It's very good.
There's only one Capri Sun. It's great, tasting fun when you punch open one.
He's had other fruit punches before. That one's the best.
Well, you know, guys, so I have some fun facts to share with you. But before we do, I'm just going to take a sip of this refreshing Monster Energy.
0 calorie.
Zero sugar. Way better than the competitors.
Monster Energy. Unleash the beast.
And makes you feel like a monster.
But one of the funny things about this is that, so this was, Jim Carrey up to this point was known for his comedic roles, and he was actually cast in this movie off the strength of Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. And then,
really?
Yeah, but then he went on to do Cable Guy and Liar Liar, and they waited for him to do this stuff. But because he was known for his comedic stuff, nobody thought that he'd be able to pull off the dramatic chops that were required of him for this. And so he had to drop his price for this movie. So instead of his normal $20 million paycheck, he only got $12 million for this movie.
Poor guy.
Poor guy.
But it was kind of interesting because this movie kind of came out when I was in film school, and there was a lot of buzz about it because the guy who wrote it, his name's Andrew Niccol, and he went on to write and direct a movie called Gattaca with Ethan Hawke, which is a great movie.
And Uma Thurman, right?
Yeah, and Uma Thurman. And so originally, he wrote this movie back in 1991, and it was a much darker, more science fiction kind of movie. It was called The Malcolm Show, and it was going to be his directorial debut. He was going to, direct this off a script he wrote. And when it got picked up by Scott Rudin and Paramount, basically it got an $80 million budget and all this other stuff. And they were like, we can't give an $80 million budget to a guy who's never directed a movie before. And so they brought in another director named Peter Weir, who did Dead Poets Society. He's a very serious director.
I love him.
Yeah. And so Peter Weir comes in, and he basically is like, oh, this is way too dark of a movie. And so he starts working with Andrew Niccol to rewrite it and make it a little bit brighter, a little bit, more comedic. Peter Weir is the one who cast Jim Carrey in this. And one of the interesting things about Peter Weir is that he came in and basically he wrote backstories for every character in this movie, and also the history of the Truman Show and stuff like that. He had 10 pages and pages worth of stuff that he created that never made its way into the movie. For instance, all the songs on the radio are public domain songs, because in Peter Weir's vision, he was like, there's no way the network's going to pay for royalties for songs that play on the radio, so everything's just public domain. And that's just a little touch that if you don't know about it when you're watching the movie. That's why it's
all classical music and stuff.
Exactly. And so it's little things like that. For instance, there's a scene where Truman goes to the travel agency. And basically, this woman comes out, she's got a little bib on and stuff like that. And the thing is,
she was just in makeup.
Well, the thing is that, so she was in Peter Weir's backstory, she's an actress who was cast to play the travel agent. And because Truman's never been there before, she never had anything to do. So she was always just in the back. And when he actually finally comes in, he's sitting there waiting. They had to do her makeup really quick. And so she comes out and she's like, oh, I was eating lunch, because she still had like the makeup bib on. And it's little things like that that Peter Weir added to this. So originally, like, it was going to be set in like a Manhattan type city. And Truman was much younger. He was like kind of out of high school. It was going to be more of a psychological thriller than like kind of like a feel good triumph of the human spirit.
Like a
show.
Logan's Run type thing, I can imagine.
Well, for instance, like there were things where like they would keep trying to do stuff to push the main character Malcolm in the original script to kind of make things interesting. So for instance, he'd be walking down the street and there would be actors basically pretending to like try and rape a woman, and she'd be calling out for help, and he would just like keep walking. And then like when he was out of earshot, the actors would all stop. It's like, oh man, I thought he'd really like try and do something.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah. And so like the original script was a lot of like that really dark stuff that Peter Weir kind of came in and he's like, you know what, I want to make this a little bit different. So like the movie's still kind of dark, but it's dark in a different way.
So I wanted to talk about that whole. Let's break this down like nerds. Okay, so we've got this this sphere world, which is probably where that conspiracy theories come from in the beginning.
Well, they just got a
It's a dome.
dome.
The dome world.
City. Yeah.
It's the largest sound stage on the planet Earth. You can see it from space.
Yeah, it's giant. What's powering this thing?
Preposterous.
It's completely preposterous. It would never work.
No.
How do you power that? And how many people are involved? So you've got
I
this.
mean, you can see the Luxor light from space.
Yeah, but the Luxor's
a
a
light.
building.
Yeah.
It would be like putting all of Las Vegas under a dome and being like, yeah, we're cool.
Well, I mean, like they're able to power all of Las Vegas and Manhattan and stuff like that. It's no different.
Yeah, they don't have prisons. They just have guys on wheels.
They probably just have a dedicated nuclear power plant for it.
So I'm wondering,
Somebody busted a deal, so they put him on the wheel.
do you guys think that nuclear power plant within the world is real?
Oh, most definitely. Yeah.
You think that's what's powering it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So that was an actual nuclear plant.
I think I didn't think about it in that
No?
terms. I just think it's a preposterous concept.
To have a child raised within a
Yeah.
TV show?
I mean,
Well, see,
I wouldn't put it past these network.
That's what I was going to say,
idiots.
because they said in the movie that he's the first baby to ever be adopted by a
Yeah.
corporation.
Yeah, think about all of the things he has no knowledge of
Yeah.
because it's never been on the show.
Because they can't pay for it because they don't have a
Right.
copyright
He's
claim.
never heard of
Star Wars.
like music that's Beatles,
yeah.
Alice Cooper. He's never heard of music.
Mhm.
And it's also funny, like as you're watching the movie, there's all this propaganda in the background to kind of tell them, like, "Oh, the outside world's bad.
Yeah.
Flying is dangerous."
Yeah,
Or,
who
Well,
needs it?
There's like
Yeah.
the smallest things. There's a guy in the background with a newspaper and it says, "Who needs Europe?
Yeah.
Like stay in town or whatever."
The
It's
newspaper
so
ads throughout the
creepy.
movie just fucking get me.
Yeah.
Because everything that he's like saying to himself in the fucking bathroom mirror, they make a report about it in the paper the next day in order to gaslight him.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah. Oh, that when the light falls from the thing and they're like, "Well, that was weird. There was an airplane that shredded his
yeah.
parts flying over."
News
like,
report.
what the
Isn't that
fuck?
funny?
But
yeah. And then when his mom is like, "Oh, look at this picture of us at the
Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore."
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was very poorly done.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, that looks small." And she's
like,
like,
"Well,
"Oh,
everything
we were
does."
there. You slept the whole way there. Don't you remember?"
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, it's so like
So fucked up. what they're
rear
doing to this
window.
kid.
Like, do you remember?
Yeah.
Well, another interesting aspect of this movie is that Peter Weir, the director, and Jim Carrey did not really get along on set, because Peter Weir, he's very much like me. He's like, I planned this movie out. This is exactly how I want things to go. And Jim Carrey's coming on. He's like, I'm going to improv.
Mhm.
Oh, God, he
And-
Nick Caged it.
Yeah, he Nick Caged it. And like a lot of the scenes where he's like in the mirror and he's like drawing out the soap, like all that's like Jim Carrey.
That shit's
Well,
And so
brilliant.
that's
It-
what
it really
that's what
is.
Jim
It really
Carrey
adds
does.
to the character.
And Peter Weir was basically like, I think like midway through production, he was like, you know what, I just got to learn how to work Jim Carrey style. And so like he let Jim Carrey improv within certain parameters and stuff like that. And I think it actually works to the strength of the movie, because this was Jim Carrey's first real dramatic role, and nobody thought he'd be able to pull it off.
Yeah.
And he did it perfectly.
And he really portrays this character as a good person, but also such a lonely person.
This is one of the things I want to talk about. I was trying to think of how to come up to this movie in like the Salty Nerd podcast style. Like, what would be a unique way of looking at this? So there's like activists out there who are like free Truman activists, right? And they try to sneak their way in. And then you've got Ed Harris, who's like the god of this world,
Yes.
trying to keep him in. Whose side are you guys on? Because I was watching this and I thought real long and hard about this. I watched this movie like 3 times this week to get preparation for this podcast. And I'm like, I I think Ed Harris has a point. Like the world sucks. Like this dude has curated this perfect world. It's fucked up. Yes, I agree. And it's
far from perfect.
It's far from perfect. But when they're like, there's nothing out there for you to go and escape to. It's like, can you imagine? He's the most famous person on the planet.
I mean,
and he has like the knowledge of, he's so sheltered. He doesn't know,
childlike.
he doesn't know what the real world is like. He's going to leave this dome, go out into the real world, and the world is going to freaking eat him alive.
He's a human being who deserves his own experiences, though. And imagine if you were in this position and somebody said, "Don't do it because I know what's better for you."
Yeah.
You
No,
wouldn't
I'd
okay
be like,
with
fuck
that.
off.
I mean, that's like
What were we
every
gonna-
show.
Sorry, Vader, I cut you
no,
off.
it's cool. I was just kidding. The dude's in a prison,
Yeah.
and we all should be able to relate just a little bit,
Yeah.
just by living here in Las Vegas. Las Vegas is
A
an
dome.
isolated city in the middle of the desert with literally nothing.
There's only
for 250 miles in every direction.
there's only one highway that leaves.
There might as well be a dome over our city.
Mhm.
And granted, there is a ton of stuff to do here, but you feel isolated here. When you
100%.
live here, you want to leave here. And I get it. And this poor dude has been in this piece of crap little
See, Haven.
oceanside town, which would drive me crazy anyway. But I can kind of relate on a weird level, and I think we all kind of can.
Yeah, and just to
because just where we live.
I almost moved to Virginia last year because I just wanted to get out of town.
you are 100% correct. I never thought of it in that perspective. But like, if you've ever been to Las Vegas and you've taken a road trip from Las Vegas, like it is desolate and scary. And that's the predicament that they put him in intentionally in this. Like driving anywhere outside of here, like it's the fucking desert.
you might,
It's
you,
the
you might as well be on
wilderness.
Mars.
There- We saw tumbleweed in the street the other day and we were like, oh my God.
It's like, you better have a full tank of gas and a couple gallons of water in the back seat.
I mean, yeah.
You need to take provisions, and I'm not being sarcastic.
No.
Like there's nothing, no gas stations, no power lines. You have no signal. Like once you leave Las Vegas,
for at least an hour,
it's a dead zone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's exactly what they're putting him in. It's a prison.
And one of the interesting kind of like thematic aspects of this movie is that, Ed Harris's character, Christoph, he basically is like representative of God, right? Like he has like complete control over, this whole like town. Everyone kind of caters to his every whim. And he is basically the one who watched over Truman from the moment that, he was born pretty much, and, watched him grow up and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And so like the real thing comes down to like, like, what does it mean to truly be free? Does that mean that like you have to snub your creator and go off and like do your own thing? Like at what point does the triumph of the human spirit, which is what Truman kind of represents, the true man, at what point does that kind of like overshadow like faith and religion and belief and, like the reality with which we're presented? At what point do we choose to face our own reality as opposed to the reality that's presented to us? And it's like, there are very deep themes to this movie, which I think makes it like way more interesting. But in the original script, so it was Peter Weir who decided to end the movie when Truman like leaves the dome, right? And we don't find out what happens afterwards. But in Andrew Nichols' original script, he leaves the building, goes into the studio, meets Christoph face to face, and kills him. And that's where the movie ended, where basically man kills God in order to truly be free.
Whoa.
Yeah. So like Andrew Nichols' original script was much, much different than what this movie ended up being.
That's crazy. So my next question that I wanted to pose to you guys to kind of give it an SMP twist is, how would you have kept Truman in? Like these people that he's with, and his wife especially, are like the worst people at making him feel happy and comforted. Like what would you have changed to be like, this guy needs something different?
Giving him a girlfriend? Oh, no, he had a wife. So
Yeah, but
I
she
don't know.
sucks.
She was
They should
terrible.
have given him the girlfriend that he wanted.
Right. Yeah. The girl, like Dr. Halsey from Halo, that's the same actress, right? Am I correct in that? Or am I having a stroke? Okay. So it's the same actress. Like they were naturally attracted to each other. They liked each other. I think the reason why they didn't want her is because she, even from the very beginning when they were in like college or high school or whatever it was when they first met, she wanted to get him out.
Mm-hmm.
She was already like a free Truman activist at that point.
Yeah, but didn't you get the impression that that perspective that she was taking on it came directly from them saying, don't do this, don't do that, don't talk to this, don't talk to that.
Yeah.
They were even telling her like, you're not allowed to talk to him. We see that he likes you, but you're not allowed to talk to
Right.
him. And then don't you think that changed her perspective? Like, oh, this is
bad.
horrible.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they just
I need to help
militarized
him.
her.
Yeah. If they had just pacified the people in his inner circle, and especially him, and kept everybody happy and just gave him a longer leash, they wouldn't have had to work so hard to get him to stay there.
Right. I agree. Yeah.
If they had actually made him a happy person, but that's not good TV.
The other thing too is how screwed up is it that everybody was watching this show?
That's the worst
Well,
part.
no, that's real life.
That's yeah. Well,
I mean,
I'm going to talk about that with
human beings. We're all just rubberneckers for stupid
Sure.
shit.
the gladiators.
You just got to say the word Kardashians and
Well, yeah. Well, when we talk about EdTV,
It's just
EdTV is just it's fucking YouTube.
oh yeah, this
It's Logan Paul.
yeah, this movie though, man. I have a hard time with this movie.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't like this movie?
I do not like this.
That's
movie.
weird. Hold on, real quick before you get into your salt. I just want to let everybody know that this Dr. Pepper Cherry Zero Sugar is really refreshing, and I'm going to add it to my gin and tonic. Oh,
I'm a pepper, he's a pepper, she's a pepper, we're a pepper. Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too?
That sounds just refreshing.
oh, it's red. That scared me.
It's cherry.
Okay, cool.
Made with real cherries.
I lost my train of thought.
23 different flavors.
You were gonna
You were
tell
gonna
us,
dump some salt. You were gonna tell
all
yeah.
about like how much you hate this movie.
Why do you hate this movie?
I
You don't like artsy fartsy Jim Carrey
no,
movies.
and that's it. This is an artsy fartsy Jim Carrey movie.
Okay.
And I don't like artsy fartsy movies.
You hate
and,
Eternal Sunshine too, don't you?
Oh, I'm not watching that fucking movie. Fuck
I've
you.
never seen it either.
And
That's another one I love.
no.
I'd probably like it, but I just don't have a desire to watch it.
Eternal Sunshine. You know, what's the John Malkovich movie where he's like goes in the cabinet and shit?
I love that
It's like,
movie
oh.
too.
Being John Malkovich.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
movie fucking sucks. I just cannot.
That is
get into
actually
these-
really good. Sorry.
Anyway, yeah, I'm not a fan of this type of a movie.
What would
I didn't like the way the piano music was in the background and the artsy fartsy music.
He was
and-
like, "Quit making me try to
and
quit
I
trying to
just-
make me feel."
Well, kind of.
But that's
this
the
just
thing,
isn't my
though.
kind of movie. I don't like these kind of movies.
because that music
yeah,
that you're
I get
talking
it.
about
I get
was
it. I didn't like it.
no, but that's the point.
I know, and I didn't like it.
So the movie is succeeding in making you feel uncomfortable.
The movie
And
is
irritating
succeeding
you.
and just annoying me and not ever making me want to watch it again.
Okay, but keep in mind that Vader is the person who's like, "Oh, you want me to do that?"
Fuck
No.
you.
I mean, this is just when, if this is the kind of movie we watch every week, I wouldn't do this show. I just say, "Fuck you guys, I'm not doing this. I'm out."
Well, next month it's just like
So,
it's space
This,
month.
this is the kind of movie, you know, people like Kadish go to film school to learn to have to like make. Oh, this is such a great, thought-provoking, arty, fuck whatever movie, you know, and it's just like, what? I don't want to watch it.
Okay.
You know, my fucking voice is done. But no, this is just, it's a artsy fartsy. Well, look, everybody, Jim Carrey can act, and he can also come out of a rhino's ass and be funny. you know, it's just like, ugh. No, I don't like dramatic. He can act Jim Carrey movies. I just don't. So.
I think the thing that used to be the appeal to Jim Carrey is that no matter what he was in, he was always likable. Like it's just like, oh, Jim Carrey, you know, like whether he's doing drama or comedy, it's just like, oh, I like Jim Carrey. And nowadays he's gotten to the point where like, you know, he's just like, I don't care. You know, so like it's hard to still have those same feelings for him. But this movie came out at the height of his like popularity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jim Carrey is an amazing actor. Don't get me wrong. I mean, his Andy Kaufman movie, holy shit, that's
You like that?
You like that, but you don't like this?
I appreciate his performance in that. It's a weird movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I appreciate his performance in that.
He did some
And
fucked up
He
method
was
acting shit.
some
in that
severe
too.
method acting in there.
Like way worse than what Jared Leto's been doing
Yeah.
lately.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, and it like permanently fucked him up.
Yeah.
But this isn't my kind of movie, and I don't really know what else to say other than that because
Okay.
it's just
That's fair. Hey man,
it's just
like movies
bleh.
are not going to be for everybody.
no.
But I enjoy this both because it's like a dark comedy
I
because it's still
look-
funny.
I look at like Rotten Tomatoes,
Yeah.
and it's like 99% for the critics and 97% or whatever for the public. And I'm like, what a bunch of pretentious assholes. That many people did not like this fucking
But
movie.
it's well written. It's well acted. There's nothing.
I think
It's
it's one
thought
of,
provoking.
Yeah.
it's one of these movies like, oh, this is such a thought-provoking and well-acted movie. I really enjoy this. This makes me feel so much better for liking what a fancy movie is supposed to be like. It's like, no, man, give me some fucking lasers and King Kong and shit.
I dig it.
I feel like
get it.
he's attacking me specifically.
I'm not attacking you at all. I just think I just don't think people.
Have another Capri
I
Sun.
don't think people are honest with themselves when they say they like this shit.
I did.
I really don't.
I do. I've watched it. I watched it 3 times this week. And it's a regular watch.
I watched this
You
movie
would
a
watch
lot.
Velocipaster 3 times.
Fuck that movie.
If it was on our list to watch.
I've also watched Velocipaster.
Kill me first. I am not
Oh, it's
watching
coming.
that
Who do you think is
goddamn
the
movie.
biggest villain? Is it Christoph or is it like
It's his best friend.
it's his best friend? I think too.
Yeah, his best friend's been there from the beginning, even
And
before his
is
wife.
Totally fine with it too.
Yeah,
So there was a deleted scene in this movie where basically when they're searching for Truman after like he escapes, the best friend finds him and chooses to let him go to show that he actually does care about Truman.
Oh,
But they decided to just get rid of
so
that.
he's like yeah. They just made him a full on
Let's just
villain.
make everybody a disingenuous.
You kind of
piece
have
shit.
to be a piece of shit to be in on this, though.
Yeah.
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 Like,
I mean, think about his parents.
oh,
Because they're not his
he's
parents.
never actually had parents.
Yeah.
He's gonna go out into the. This is another reason too, which made me think like if he does go out in the real world, it's gonna be the death of him.
Oh yeah, he wouldn't be
Zero,
able to.
he's
do
not-
zero
to
support.
anything.
He's not-
going to have a bunch of fake friends
Yeah.
that just think because he's famous.
Oh no, he's going to have Natasha McElhenney,
The one chick who
whoever.
actually cares for
Oklahoma.
him.
and he'll probably have like tons of sponsorship deals and tons of money, and he'll probably be. I mean, he's already
gonna
world
need
famous.
lots of therapy.
Remember, Chosen is in this.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for reminding me. You remember when it flashes to like different families watching?
Mm-hmm.
The Asian family is chosen from Karate Kid 2 and also Cobra Kai.
No shit.
Yeah.
I thought I recognized him, but I
Yeah.
didn't want to be like that dude who was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, he looks familiar."
I love it when this
He looks
happens.
like every Asian guy I've ever seen.
I have this thing for faces, and I can't remember anybody's name.
Right.
But like it flashed for like a second, and I was like, "Kiddish, was that chosen?" He's like, "Nah," and I was like, "Bullshit."
Google.
I was like, rewind it.
Google.
Sure enough.
I'm reminded watching because we have a plane over here next to us. It reminds me of Vision and Scarlet Witch, the television. show.
Yes.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
I think they
I
probably
didn't like that show either.
they probably pulled a lot from that or from this movie into that show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the best friend is probably the worst case of maybe his mom. I guess technically his mom knew him longer. His fake mom
We
who
don't
would gaslit him.
We don't get a lot about her away from him though. But like the scenes with Marlon, the best friend, and Christoph, where he's like, like he's a totally different person. He's just like, yep, want to get this all wrapped up so we can get back on, like, and he's
a
just
company
he just
man.
seems so fine with it that
Yeah.
it's heart wrenching. And then he's just taking Christoph's words and is like. And like infusing the emotion into it, and he's like, Truman, I would never lie to you.
Oh,
And getting into his head, and he's like, I'd have to be in on it too, buddy.
the fact that
And it's so.
me and Jude are gonna go off on this. The fact that was not even his own feelings. It was Ed Harris feeding him lines through an earpiece,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Say this,"
Yeah.
and the next say this,
Yeah.
and then the way he sells it,
Also, where's that earpiece?
I don't know. There's a weird technology gap
Where's all
going
the
on
cameras?
here.
Yeah.
Where's all the cameras?
Yeah, well, they have shitty ass freaking like webcams
Button
like
cams.
hidden in places and
Button
stuff
cams.
like that. Yeah, button cams and all that kind of nonsense. But yeah, it's a freaking good ass movie. It's
Yeah.
thought provoking. It's funny when it needs to be funny, and it's real dark when it needs to be dark.
Every time they do a product placement, and Truman's like, that's cool, I
Weird.
guess.
Like that's the other thing too is how terribly is this place managed to where like they can't come up with a better like we come up with better ways of doing product placement.
yeah, but
just
we're
for the
all
podcast.
involved. We're not trying to keep somebody else in the room unawares.
It's like Vader. Have you ever played Dragon Champions? It's a dope ass game, dude. You need
Yeah,
to
that's pretty
download
cool.
it.
What if you put salty in the promo code?
Yeah, you get free stuff, man. It's
That's
cool.
really
I like free stuff.
Go download Dragon Champions. It's cool, man. Like, it's, and then the fact that they can't keep people out. Like, there's this one dude who parachutes in. Like, they're really bad at their job.
Yeah, how do you parachute into a dome?
He had to have crawled up the side on the outside and like found a hatch.
Suction cups.
Suction cupped up, like found a hatch.
Drilled a hole in the top of the hatch.
And then jumped.
Did they build this dome while he was growing up, and how did they insert him into the dome?
I think it was already. I think it was built beforehand.
They had 9 months to create the dome.
And then
now it's been 30 years, so no wonder the lights are fucking dropping off.
You can't pour a fucking cement slab in 9 months around here, much less a giant,
but then
wide, 20-mile wide dome.
Yeah. When that rainstorm happens and it's just literally isolated to where Truman's standing and it follows him around, really weird. I'm like, these people suck at their job.
Yeah. How about the rainstorm when he's trying to sail away and Kristoff is like, I'm going to kill him.
Oh, that was dark. And they're like, you can't kill a man on live TV. Why not? He was born here. I was like, holy shit.
He ties himself to the boat.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm not going to, because he falls off.
Me and Jude, we'll be right back. Me and Jude are going to go talk about this movie for another hour.
He falls off the boat. And then he finally gets back on the boat. He ties himself to it and he's screaming because he knows the fucking jig is up. He's like, is that the best you've got?
Yeah, he pulls a Lieutenant Dan.
To kill me.
Yeah.
And Kristoff is like, copy that, Chief. And he literally is about to kill him and drown him in a hurricane that he creates.
Yeah.
Can we make like a Mel Brooks style reality TV movie?
That's Ed TV. We're going to talk about that one next.
We should probably give it a final rating.
Yeah. So this is artsy fartsy nonsense, non-nerdy,
not in my wheelhouse bullshit movie.
Okay. Rating?
I'm going to give it a real person score.
Okay.
I'm going to say this is probably a 2.5 stars at the most. And I don't believe everybody when they say they just love this stupid artsy fartsy movie. No, thank you. Never going to watch it again. And I'm angry you guys made me watch it.
Kind of hurt my feelings a little bit.
I don't care. I don't think you're being real with yourself.
I love this movie. Jude, final rating.
Well, I just want to say that...
Can't hold it together, Jude. Come on, you got to sell it.
I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, I love this movie. I love this movie. I watch it a lot. I watch it maybe not every year, but I do watch it a lot.
Yeah, it's a regular.
I revisit this movie a lot.
Yeah.
And when we started, this was the theme of the show was my idea, and because I wanted to build a show around this movie. I think it's so well done, and I love all of the product placement and the things that they do to kind of try and make the show work, because that's where they're getting the budget for the show is through the product placement.
Yeah.
Everyone is such an awful character except for Truman. I do wonder what they do with the camera when he jerks off.
I was wondering the same thing.
Oh my God,
His
I'm
teenage
so glad.
years. What were they doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
How many times is he going to beat it today?
That's got to be a poll on the internet, dude.
How much shit in his house did he fuck?
Yeah. How many girlfriends has he had?
Wait, what?
Because the two fucking
no, I mean like, you know, when little boys are becoming big boys and then they just like find things to put their dicks in.
How much do you know about little boys?
I've had several boyfriends.
I never like fucked weird things.
Yeah, I never fucked weird things either, Jude.
Oh my
pie
God,
thing
I've
is
only
real.
dated freaks. No offense, babe.
What kind of things have you fucked?
You don't want to know.
No, but I legit like.
Hashtag not all men.
I don't know,
It's
man.
like me and Vader are like
that weird bat mask behind you is looking pretty good right now.
Maybe
I'm gonna go stick my dick into
I've had several
it.
boyfriends who were like, yeah, if you put the couch cushions together, or like I had one boyfriend that used to slam his dick in a drawer.
What the fuck?
Wow.
I thought it was everyone.
Vader, we're normal.
Maybe you're not.
I'll take it.
I don't smash my dick into fucking
Yeah,
drawers
but
to get
you
off.
like this weird movie, so whatever.
Kadish, what's your artsy
I didn't give it a
fartsy?
rating.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead,
You
Jude.
started talking about us sticking our things in weird places. You don't get a rating.
5 dick drawers out of 5.
I give it four dick drawers out of 5.
Fucking dick drawer.
I did wonder what they did with his teenage years, because you know he's done some fucked up shit, and it's all on camera.
I feel really bad, really weird about me saying that now. I didn't know that wasn't all boys. I
didn't
just
do that
assumed
shit.
it was all boys.
Nope.
I've
Kadish,
dated a lot of people.
give it your artsy fartsy film school rating.
So I'm not surprised that Alex likes this movie as much as he does, because it's one of those question your reality movies, which is right up Alex's alley. Very conspiracy kind of laden. I'm not surprised that Vader hates it as much as he does, because he doesn't like to think about movies. He just likes to look at them and turn his brain on. This movie it works on a lot of different levels. Like there's lots of interesting themes to this movie. Peter Weir is a very talented filmmaker, and he brought a lot of depth to this movie. Andrew Niccol had a very kind of creative screenplay behind it. Jim Carrey's great in it. Everything about this movie is really, really good. It's not like a regular watch for me, but like I appreciate the movie on many different levels, because it is an entertaining movie, but at the same time it makes you think. And it also has a lot of good social commentary and explores like, kind of like different themes about modern society and voyeurism and, kind of like our reality TV culture and stuff like that. And, just if you go on YouTube nowadays, you see people putting videos of their family up, and people like subscribe to their channels because they want to see this crazy family doing crazy stuff. So a lot of it's like still relevant today, like the themes that the movie tackles. And it's just a damn good movie. It's like a very solidly well-made, well-told story. And I agree that it is a 4-star film. So that's my rating for it.
Yep. I'm happy I could bring the average down.
I agree. This is a 4-star movie for me. I love it. It's a regular watch for me, at least once a year.
Well, at least it's not like Wayne's World good.
Was that? Did they give that a 5-star? What the fuck?
That's because it is a 5-star movie. Wayne's World's great.
The rating system's fucked. I love this movie. It's a regular watch. At least once a year, I'll pop in Truman Show just to kind of get that itch. I think it's phenomenal. I love this movie. It's the best of the week. I don't know what else to say. It's great. I love it.
You
It's
scratch
awesome.
that dick drawer itch.
No. I scratched the I want to see Jim Carrey do something cool itch, and it's like either Dumb and Dumber, Truman Show, or maybe Ace Ventura. I'm a big fan of freaking what the fuck happened to Jude?
My brain went to a weird place.
Yeah, she's having flashbacks of all her former
You always
boyfriends.
see me itching. Yeah, I want to itch Jim Carrey's dick.
I just pictured you watching this and standing in front of a dresser of drawers.
Man, I thought this was going to be like the one show I could let my wife listen to.
Nope.
Can't do it.
Welcome to the Salty Nerd Podcast, where we talk about weird ass shit.